This is Escalopes of Salmon with a sorrel sauce. The salmon you can buy so easily in good fish shops and good supermarkets now is so special. I mean, that is a really lovely looking piece of fillet. Now I'm going to cut it into what I call escalopes, which basically are thin slices. And to do that, I want to cut it slightly on what we call the bias, which means I'm cutting it sort of at about 45 degrees. And the reason I'm doing that is that you get slightly, or actually much thicker slices, hence the word escalope. And I'm cutting them about ½ centimetre thick, and I'm cutting them against the skin. So what I'm looking for is to end up with a piece of fish like that. And I'm going to do enough for 2 people, so it wants to be about 4 slices per person. And I'm going to serve the salmon with a lovely white wine and cream sauce flavoured with sorrel. One last one and that will do. Like that. Now then, I've got a grilling tray here. And I'm just going to rub my grilling tray with plenty of oil. My favourite oil, unless it's olive oil, is sunflower oil. I just love the flavour. I particularly like the flavour of sunflower oil in dressings like mayonnaise or vinaigrette. So onto there now I'm going to put my fillets of salmon. And I chose this dish because it's something I think you could do at home. Like that. Okay, bit more all over the top. And then just a little light seasoning with salt. And I'm going to leave this to the very last minute, and when I grill it under the grill it'll be there for only about a minute, because what I want to do is just set it. It wants to be still very undercooked in the centre. So now for the sorrel sauce. Well, the first element, of course, in the sorrel sauce is sorrel. It's a shame because it's not a herb that's readily available in supermarkets or other food shops. Some people sell it, Waitrose sells it, you can get it online, you get it from Whole Foods. But I just feel it's one of those salad leaves which is sadly overlooked. Lovely lemony flavour. It's a member of the rhubarb family. Tastes lovely of lemons and it goes really well with fish, particularly oily fish like salmon. The one thing about sorrel, when you cook it, is don't cook it for very long, because what starts as a lovely bright green ends up as a sort of browny grey. But I'm going to slice it all up now into what we call a chiffonade in the trade, but I won't add that to the sauce until the very last minute. Talking of the sauce, it's just the simplest of white wine sauces, which is basically fish stock, white wine, cream and butter, and finishing off with a little bit of lemon juice. And when I wrote this recipe originally, I suggested, and I still do, suggest using Nolly Pratt, white Nolly Pratt vermouth as the white wine element, because it has a certain amount of sort of aromatic herbs in it, which just give it a very nice flavour. But I haven't got any, so I'm using Picpoul de Pinet, which would be fine. So in there a good slug of white wine, and my fish stock, which I've also made, and if you look at the recipe under this, you'll see that the fish stock recipe that I've also done a little demo about how to make fish stock. Actually, it was this fish stock that I made with lemon sole bones. So bring that to the boil, and I've got quite a lot of cream to go in there, about 5 fluid ounces of cream. It is a rich dish, so I start just by adding cream to that and letting that boil down together. So that's come to the boil now. It's a very appetizing smell, I think. I mean, I almost think that fish stock has to go with white wine and has to go with cream. Not always, but the combination is just a lovely smell, and it just sort of permeates the house. I know people don't like the smell of fish, but I actually like fish stock. I think what they don't like in fish is oily fish like herrings or mackerel. This is very, if you came in here after a long walk, you open the door and you smell that, and you say, oh, what is for dinner? So what I'm waiting for here is for the volume here, the liquid volume, to reduce by about 3/4. That will concentrate the fish stock flavour, but also actually concentrate the cream as well. Incidentally, when you're reducing liquids, don't use a straight-sided saucepan because everything will boil over. These sort of pans called sauteuses are the ones to use. They're open like that, which allows the steam to escape easily. So I've got this on a very high heat, and I'm just keeping an eye on it because even when it's a pan like that, it will boil over. It'll certainly boil over in a saucepan, straight-sided pan. And I don't quite know how to explain how far to reduce it. I would say the volume needs to reduce by about 3/4. But what I'm looking for is a sort of concentrated taste. And I'm going to end up with this sauce, with it coating the back of a spoon. That's i.e. when I put the spoon in there, you get this really sort of quite thick sauce on the back of the spoon. At the moment, nothing is clinging to the back of the spoon. It's in the recipe below, but that's only a guide. I think what you need to do is just to make these sauces and use the recipe first time round to get exactly what I mean, and then you'll understand the process. So that's reduced by about 3/4. Just have a look at it. It has thickened up quite a lot, and it'll taste much more concentrated now. Indeed it does. But now I'm going to do the unmentionable thing, maybe, of adding even more butter and cream to it. But that's the way it goes. I don't know if you can hear that noise. It's sort of like as you cook dishes like this, you get very attuned to the sort of the way the sauce is reducing, and you can hear that sort of bubbling noise. That means that there's much more fat and less liquid in there than there was before. So now I'm going to add about 100 grams of butter and whisk that in, and some cream, about another 100 ml of cream. So it's a lot. I'm not skimping and saving with this particular dish, but what I want is, the word I love to use is unctuousness. I'm looking for unctuousness. If you look at that now, you'll see that it is beginning to coat the back of the spoon, and that is just about ready to go. Now I'm just going to take it off the heat for a sec while I cook the salmon, but I will put it back on the heat just to finish it off. So this is a very quick operation. And this is, you really do need to get prepared with everything else, because you don't want to make a mistake with your salmon. It's going to go in for about a minute, right at the top of the grill, like that. Set timer 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute and counting.
Thank you. So, while that minute goes round, back on the sauce. First, that much sorrel goes in there now. It's really good. There's my timer. That's what I mean by 1 minute. You see, it's still virtually, well, extremely undercooked in the middle, but it really will taste so much better like that. Now I've just got to turn the timer off because it's, I know, annoying you and me. Don't worry if it looks a little bit on the rare side, it'll taste that much better. And now the sauce, right over the top incidentally. And finally, a judicious sprinkling of sorrel on top. And I have to say that in the early days of the restaurant, this was probably the most popular dish we had on. And when you eat it, you'll see why.